going away anytime soon. Let me bring in Dr. Gideon Ofosu-Peasah, who is an analyst with Global Initiative Against Transnational Crime. They conducted a research last year which revealed that the trafficking of high caliber firearm was fueling the violence in Bawku. He joins me now for more. Dr. Ofosu, I mean, this is not good news. In one breath, we have the view that the security agencies was on top of their game, but clearly things are getting out of hand. The connection is not stable. We'll reconnect with Dr. Ofosu so that we can get to understand what they've done. I mean, they've done some research in the past, and they've concluded on how some of these weapons are able to get into Bawku. We will try to find out how their research, what we can learn from it, and how best their research findings can be incorporated to ensure that there is some peace and stability in Bawku. Dr. Ofosu, if you can hear me, you're welcome back to the pulse. You're enjoying it. I will ask him, recent events does not tell that Bawku is returning to normalcy.
So what we know is that there are some underlying drivers which has not been dealt with. We know that the underlying factor significantly has been the chieftaincy conflict. And then due to that, there are also flows of sophisticated arms in recent times. It used to be artisanal weapons, but the quest for each of the major ethnic groups to, should I say, kill each other, to wipe out a particular ethnic group is causing the demand for very high sophisticated weapons. And then what we know is that these weapons, there are flows of these sophisticated weapons from Burkina Faso. We know that there are also people from Libya returnees. And then when they belong to any of these major ethnic groups, they or arms on the illicit market. And then we also know that there are also flows from the port in Tema, whereby some of these weapons even come from the United States of America and then Turkey, and then they are mixed with personal effects, put in containers, and then are brought into the country. Again, what we also know is that there's a significant number of illicit entry routes into the country. There was a report by the one in 2019 which indicated that there are 44 official immigration entry points, but in reality there were 189 unofficial entry points. So the insecurity situation in Burkina Faso, and then we also know that the northern borders have become a havens where some of these armed groups do stay. So there's that kind of connection.
It doesn't appear that the internet is our best friend this afternoon, but you are listening to the pulse here on Joy News. We'll re-establish contacts on a clear line with Dr. Ofosu-Peasah, but as you may be aware, this is a conflict that has raged for decades. Records show that the Bawku crisis began even before Ghana gained independence in 1957. Outliving President Kwame Nkrumah and all those who have come after him. So why are the people of Bawku still at war with themselves? Where are they getting the weapons from? Who is sponsoring them? We will seek answers today. In the last week or so, there's been an escalation with at least 7 persons dead and several others injured. In a statement, the Ghana Armed Forces underlined the changing dynamics of the situation, with insurgents now adopting more sophisticated weapons. On Thursday, for instance, there was an attempt by some armed men to blow up a oil fuel station using rocket-propelled grenade. That day, 3 people who the military said had attempted to attack its soldiers on the ground were shot dead, a claim some locals have disputed. That statement also gave a vivid description of what's happening in Bawku. So I'm just going to recap portions of the statement that was released by the Ghana Armed Forces. Soldiers deployed on Operation Media Buri to restore calm in the area have killed 3 innocent Kusasi youth at Sabangini. Now, assailants, according to the Ghana Armed Forces, were initially held in custody by their troops and subsequently executed. Now, Masinga, assemblyman, personally approached the Bawku detachment to negotiate the release of the deceased assailant. That's according to information part from the Ghana Armed Forces and from people we've been speaking to now. 11 mechanized battalion deployed in the Bawku indicated that factions to the conflict appear to have resumed escalation of violence with fatal consequences. This is a statement coming from the Ghana Armed Forces. And if we can take you back to what we have reported so far, on January 12, 2024, Issa Halidu was an unidentified gunman. Now, on the 17th of January, 3 persons killed and 4 injured by unknown gunmen. On the same day, or the 17th of January 2024, attempt to light up a rocket-propelled grenade bomb was, unsuccessful. And that same day, 4 gunmen attacked military men on patrol. Military returned fire and neutralized 3 of them. And this, as much as the Ghana Armed Forces regret the demise of their assailants, the escalating violence in the Bawku general area is unfortunate, according to the Ghana Armed Forces. The presence and attempt to detonate high explosives such as RPG bombs in the operational environment signposts, clearly, according to the Ghana Armed Forces, is changing the dynamics of the threat portfolio in the Bawku enclave. So therefore, it is instructive, according to them, to know that directly engaging the military is a development that could result in fatal consequences, as troops will spare no opportunity to defend themselves as well as protect residents of Bawku. Therefore, factions in the Bawku conflict, according to the Ghana Armed Forces, are cautioned against drawing the military into direct armed confrontation, whilst efforts are undertaken to resolve the current impasse. So let me go to the lines again and bring in Dr. Gideon Peasah. So Dr. Peasah, you were making a point that there are so many unauthorized routes that people can use to smuggle weapons into the country. And that raises the issue of the level of vigilance of our security agencies, knowing very well that Bawku is a volatile area.
Yes, so as I indicated, the data published by the one in 2019 indicated that there are 44 unofficial migration and relative unofficial.
And again, let me apologize for the bad connection there. The internet clearly is not acting right this afternoon, but you are watching the pulse here on Joy News. We are live on DSTV channel 421. We are looking at the recent developments in Bawku in the last hour or so. There's been some, attack on a bus that was carrying some market women. We are told that six people have been confirmed dead. Some were injured in the process. You heard our correspondent, Avesori, was reporting live from Bawku that the situation has escalated tension in the area. The military are on the streets, ensuring that there is peace and stability in the Bawku township. We'll try to get more answers from Bawku. But as we have it this afternoon, the latest information is that a bus that was carrying some market women was attacked by unknown gunmen. Six people in the process lost their lives, and some people got injured and have been taken to hospital for further treatment. Dr. Ofosu-Peasah, apologies for the bad connection we had earlier on. Now, I am certain that we can have a very meaningful conversation on the telephone. So I asked you earlier about the unapproved routes and how best and what we can do to ensure that these matters are dealt, because that clearly has become the entry point for some of these weapons. Yes, Dr. Ofosu, I was asking about the unapproved routes and what, from your estimation, can be done to block them, because clearly that has been the entry point for the weapons.
Yes, so as I indicated, yes, so the immigration and then the country's security forces are aware of that. They usually deploy their men to man these unapproved routes. But because the people do have in those communities who usually transport these smuggled weapons, do know the community so well. They create new routes as and when new ones are identified and then are blocked. And then the borders are so much as it becomes practically impossible to have men on approved routes 24/7. So sometimes they are regular patrols, and then they do know when these patrol teams come around and then when they leave. So this is an issue that needs to be dealt with. My understanding is that one of the ways that can be dealt with is maybe if the use of technology, if maybe CCTVs or some kind of logistics issue can be done in such a way that there can be some kind of monitoring from a control room along these border lines, because it is also worrying.
So therefore, you are not surprised with what is happening now?
Yes, we are not surprised, because for you to have 189 unofficial entry routes and then new ones being created day in and day out, we are not surprised. We also see some leakages also of these weapons, apart from the smuggling networks that I indicated earlier on. We also see leakages from the official weapon stock. So we see leakages from the police armory, from the military armory. We hear of the police sometimes being attacked at checkpoints, their guns stolen, security personnel at border areas manning unapproved routes being attacked, and then their weapons stolen. There are some of these weapons that also leave these official armories due to corruption to these people. So we also see that is happening. And then that is also being added to the already existing flow of the manufacture of artisanal weapons. So that is what we are also seeing. And then as we indicated, the underlying drivers, the conflicts, their drivers, there is also community support. Community self-defense groups are being formed in Bawku, and then these guys are these youth groups are the ones who usually protect these communities, and then they are provided with weapons. Communities will have to contribute money in order to get very much strong weapons so that they can deal with the other opponents. And then when you speak to the security forces, they will tell you that sometimes the sound of these weapons are, if not more, even if not more sophisticated than what they have, are equal to the firepower that they have. So these are the dynamics. Some financing from political actors, some financing from business owners that we call conflictpreneurs who benefit from the conflict. So that is what is happening.
And why has it become so difficult for the country, for example, to unmask the beneficiaries of this, this conflict that has raged for years? I mean, the talk of financiers, people who are benefiting from it, faceless individuals. Why has it become so difficult for us to unmask them?
You see, dealing with this, the faceless individuals is not a root cause. You have to deal with the root cause. Other than that, we'll be dealing with the symptoms. Now, these financiers, community members themselves do contribute to buy these weapons. People belonging to these ethnic groups who are well-to-do, who are in the country or out of the country, always receive a lot of pressure from their communities in order to support them, in order to get these weapons to them. And then if they do not do that, they are seen as bad people. But the underlying, there is a root cause, and then the root cause has to do with the chieftaincy issue. So you speak to the people, and then some of the things that they tell you is that there's lack of trust. And then maybe if these issues can be resolved, for instance, if the National House of Chiefs can select, let's say, a high-powered team to look at a way of resolving these issues, maybe some headway will be made. And then that kind of link between these major ethnic groups and then the political parties is something that we need to look out for. We are told that there's a connection. The Mampusis are affiliated to the new Patriotic Party, and then the Kusasis are affiliated to the National Democratic Congress. So depending on which government is in power, a particular ethnic group feels that they should have the power to be able to deal with the other ethnic group. So there are also this underlying political links in there. So we need to deal with the root cause. Other than that, just dealing with the symptoms may not work.
From the weapons angle and from what your research found, what do you consider to be the roadmap to deal with that aspect of the conflict?
Okay, so the research that we did aimed at looking at the flows. So we did not look at the solutions on how to deal with that. But one of the key things that we heard most of our respondents say is that they would be open for some form of mediation, but this time around, it should be left to the National House of Chiefs to deal with this. So we heard them mention something that, okay, if they have like a high-powered traditional leaders, maybe if Ofosu-Peasah, Ashanti is part of this team, this is a respected person, and there's such a whole of his caliber. If we give them the resources that they need, they can help deal with, how do you call it, the issue. But that was a major thing which came up, although our research did not focus on how these conflicts can be resolved.
But in the circumstances where the municipal chief executive, who is the chairperson of the Municipal Security Council, feels helpless to the extent that he says his own life is at stake, there are certain places he cannot go, even as head of the Security Council, then clearly the situation is clearly getting out of hand.
Yes, you see, this is a trust issue. Now, you know, when we are, the municipal chief executive is the head of DISEC, the regional minister is the head of DISEC, and then there's a lack of trust issue. They will tell you that the municipal chief executive, who is the head, belongs to one ethnic group. The head of the RegSec also belongs to another ethnic group. So there is that lack of trust in the architecture, and then the conflict, they do not have the trust that they can help in resolving the issues. So the people feel that because they belong to a particular ethnic group, sometimes the decisions that they take would be skewed towards the ethnic group that they belong to. So that is what is happening. There's a lack of trust. That is what is happening. That's the reason why they feel that if the National House of Chiefs can be brought in to deal with this issue, that would go a long way to help.
All right, Dr. Ofosu-Peasah, thank you very much for sharing there some aspects of your research findings. But remember that government some time back, taxed the Asante Ofosu-Peasah II, together with some chiefs to lead mediation effort to resolve or to bring permanent solution to this matter, just like the Asante and the two eminent chiefs did to resolve the Dagbon chieftaincy crisis. Now, the National Chief Imam last night, the National Chief Imam called for ceasefire and asked that peace talks resume. His spokesperson, Sheikh Aremia, who